This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics. I'm joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Nice to have you with us.
Good to be here, thank you.
What do you think of the Tiger Woods comeback on Sunday? We haven't had a chance to visit about that yet. That was one for the ages, wasn't it?
Yes, but I have to admit, this is true confession time for me. When the Molinari went in the water on 12, I turned it off because I hurt for him so bad because he was choking, and I have a great personal athletic history of choking. I've double faulted on match point and team tennis matches, and I just hurt so bad for him, and I knew what was going to happen. So I missed the drama. I just couldn't bear to watch it. My view is different from everyone else's, which was this great inspiration from what Tiger Woods accomplished. But what a story. I mean,
amazing to watch it. I watched it happen. So, yeah. And I will say that the Masters people were so smart; they immediately ran the whole final round again after the first one was over.
Yeah. I turned the television back on later, and they were back on 12, and Molinari was going in the water again. And I thought, well, I don't need that. I hated it one time. I feel sorry for losers, those who lose.
Okay.
No, let's not call them losers. But I think people identify with being on top and crashing completely, partly of your own doing, partly from health factors, and then making your way back. This has been 15 years since he won before.
11 since he'd won a major, and 14 since he'd won the Masters.
So if people take inspiration from that and lessons from that, good.
Yeah,
I say.
It's certainly a tale of redemption there.
Right.
So we're going to play the arrow game today. You do this in your columns periodically, arrows up, arrows down. I'm assuming Tiger Woods gets an arrow up for the comeback.
For the reasons I just expressed, he gets an arrow up, and Molinari, he's arrow down.
Okay.
He's arrow down.
All right. Yeah. All right, let's begin with our Governor, Asa Hutchinson. Fresh off the legislative session, he passes all of his legislative agenda with minor concessions, if even that.
Right.
Does he get an arrow up or an arrow down?
Way up.
Way up?
Way up.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with your criticism of some of the things that happened at the end that you don't like?
Roby, there are two kinds of criticisms. There's the kind I direct at the president for his obvious lack of character and decency. Then there are my differences with Asa Hutchinson, which, if you will notice, they tend to be honest philosophical differences, primarily about Medicaid work requirement, cutting taxes for the wealthy, and giving vouchers for people to leave the public schools to go to the private schools. Those do not reflect his character. They simply reflect that he and I have philosophical differences about those. Strong philosophical differences, to the extent that I don't think I could ever vote for a guy who did that, but that doesn't matter. I can still tell you that he's a good governor, and my differences are honest philosophical ones.
So the arrows are political in nature. Did he play his politics successfully?
The arrows were created in the column on the old Newsweek model, which was a conventional wisdom. And conventional wisdom can be wrong, but it's usually superficial. But they've come to mean just how are your fortunes by my objective assessment, not how I feel about your view on this or that. And this guy, this will go down as one of our more historic legislative sessions. Transformation of government. It was a big deal when Bumpers did it in 1971.
We're still talking about it today, so it obviously was.
It's a big deal, over 2,000 pages of legislation, and now the implementation. All tax classes, income class taxes, have had a tax cut. We no longer have the highest top income tax rate in the region. We're a decimal point under somebody, Louisiana. We have a highway program. At the start of the session, this is a tough one. How do we get this done? Well, we passed some motor user taxes, road user taxes, and now we referred to the other part of it to the voters, which is necessary. Internet taxes. We've been talking about that forever. Got that done, which will be a boon to municipal governments and local governments as well. It was one of our more accomplished legislative sessions, and as I said in a column yesterday, a lot of the stuff that made it seem so horrible, the headlines about weird, extreme right-wing bills, those didn't pass, and largely because I continue to call Asa Hutchinson the adult in the room. I think he has a moderating influence on the hog farms, on the stand your ground. And I don't even blame him too much for going along with this sanctuary city thing, because it wasn't worth the fight, because it doesn't do anything. So, way up for Asa.
All right.
Yeah.
Mayor Frank Scott, the Little Rock mayor. He's just passed, I think, 100 days in office. Where does he fall on your arrow scale?
He's still got an arrow up just because he's bold. I mean, he ran as sort of generational change and a whole cultural change in this city, and he's not really, you can't point to any accomplishment yet, but he's sort of on track with everything that he talked about doing, and he also communicates well. He is a very good communicator, and he has met the rhetorical responsibilities of the office very well. The jury's all out on whether we change the form of government and whether the city can have anything to do with the school district and those sorts of things, and whether we can have police reform and neighborhoods can improve. All of that's out there, yet to be determined. But so far, so good. Arrow up.
All right. President Donald Trump.
Yes.
I really don't even know where to begin to kind of classify his week that was, his month that was, his 2 years that was, what's around the corner in about the time we get off this set. But I guess if just at this moment today, where would you rank
Also give him an arrow. I give him an arrow up.
Give it an arrow up.
I think he has one path to re-election, one path to burdening this country for 8 years with his preposterous presidency, and he's squarely on that path. It is to keep his base fed, to know how he got there, and the immigration issue is it, and he's doing that. It is to depend on a good economy, which generally, I mean, you can take it apart any number of ways, but a lot of people think they're doing better than they were before, or they're doing okay. And it's to hope that the Democrats can't put up anybody against him who can do much or any better than Hillary did. And so his arrow is static. His fortunes are static. I believe your phrase is the cake is baked. There are 35 to 38% who are for him, period. He can get up to 46% depending on the economy and what his opposition is. And then the 46% wouldn't be enough, except it was 3 years ago. Why? Because of the way it was distributed under our electoral system, which gives more power to crocodiles and buffalo and mountain lions than it does to people where they choose to live. So that's how he is where he needs to be, and he is so embedded in our minds and in our attitudes, and he has so numbed us that there's nothing you could say about him, nothing. Now, maybe if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, maybe that was hyperbole. But short of that, there is nothing in his release his income tax returns. They could show him beholden to Russian oligarchs. Won't matter to the equation I just described. Mueller report. Let's have it out and let's put it out there and bar overstated. Mueller made a much stronger case for abortion. Does not matter. We all know how we feel. Nobody's going to be surprised by that, and nobody's going to change. So I give him an arrow up because there's only one place he can be to remain viable, and that's where he is. He's squarely on that path. And it is an entirely different dynamic than anything we've seen in politics, because you cannot embarrass him anymore. And you really can't change anybody. Clinton almost got there. Clinton, there's a lot of similarities, but Trump is Clinton to an exponential power in that respect.
Clinton to an exponential power.
By Clinton, I mean Bill, not
right.
Hillary. Okay.
All right, so that's 3 arrows up.
Yeah, I'm in a positive mood.
You are. It's got to be the spring air or something's going in here.
The dogwood and azalea in my front yard. I should show you a picture. It's just gorgeous.
The Democratic presidential field. Let's give them an arrow.
Oh, down.
Down. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Surely, is this a collective down, or is this a? There might be a few individuals with some arrows up.
Well, yeah, it's not a right. It's a general assessment of the field at present, and at present, I don't see anybody who is just a knockdown, lock it up guy. Biden
or woman.
Thank you. You saved me so many times, and it's just, I'm so. If Biden was the savior, he would have not lost 2 races for president before. he has his flaws, and they've recently been eliminated. Bernie Sanders is second. Bernie Sanders, the division that Bernie Sanders represents in the Democratic Party, which is the reason for the arrow down, this socialist, this emerging socialist view is not just Bernie anymore, it's now a broader movement in the party. I was watching Nancy Pelosi on 60 Minutes and thinking that in Arkansas just a few weeks ago, she was the face of liberalism, and it was why no one in Arkansas wants to be a Democrat, because she's so liberal. She is now the pragmatic center of the Democratic Party. And this could be an election of seismic trouble for the Democrats, in a schism between, as it tries to decide how to define itself in this Trump era. So right now, I don't see anybody who scares Trump that much, or who disturbs that equation I just cited. I just don't see him. The single most impressive, if I was giving individual arrows, would be Buttigieg. His announcement yesterday, the guy's just smart, and he has a command of issues, and he phrases things in a way that are not based on personal attacks on Trump, because there's no reason to personally attack Trump. He inflicts his trouble on himself in a tweet storm every morning. Buttigieg is saying we need to talk about our vision of the country and where we're going to take the country, and how that is disparate from Trump. But he's 37 years old. He's only been mayor of South Bend, and I'm not sure that in our electoral distribution of votes, being gay is not a problem. I wish it weren't, but I'm not sure. So altogether, for all those reasons, I give the Democratic presidential field an arrow down today.
Lots of time before the next election cycle. We'll see if any of those fortunes change.
I give arrow up to time. Yes.
All right. Well, our time is up. John
All right,
Brummett,
man. Thanks.
Always good to be with you.
You bet.
All right. Thanks so much. And thank you for tuning in. That's all for today's Talk Business and Politics. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.